Hello, and welcome to Oak Hill Academy's 142nd year. We are very excited to have you join our community, or back in our community after nearly 6 months away, and we're ready to kick off a great year. I hope you are as well. I'm Mr. Butt, the Director of Student Affairs. This year is different, to say the least. We're in the midst of a global pandemic. Many schools are not reopening this fall. Many are online or a mix of online and person. And across the country, schools look different. While it is different and will look different here, too, I want to suggest that who we are, our mission, our community, the reason for us being at Oak Hill is the same as always. Why are you coming? Did you decide to come to Oak Hill? Why did you decide to come to Oak Hill? Why did you decide to return? You came to Oak Hill for many reasons, with many different backgrounds, many different experiences and stories. But I don't really think that's the important question. Whatever the reason, from wherever you came, wherever your background, you are here right now on the Hill, and this is indeed a new year and a new beginning. I think the important questions are how and what. How do you view being at Oak Hill? Is this year a means to an end, a place to endure to get through, or is this an opportunity? What are you going to make of this year, this unique 2020 school year? What does it take to be successful? You know the importance of getting involved, of being part of the community. You know there will be routines and expectations, that you will be pushed and stretched. There will be conflict. What will you choose to do and how will you choose to respond to the challenges that are ahead of you? You have a choice. You have a choice how to view each moment, each interaction, and each encounter as an opportunity, even in the midst of a pandemic. In a moment, our nurse, Mrs. Anderson, will present some information about COVID, about mask wearing, social distancing, steps we're taking to keep you safe in the dorms and around campus. She'll be explaining the how. What I would like to do right now is explain the why. We have an opportunity together as a community to be in person, to have school in a way that not many other places are able to. We're going to require a lot of you at the beginning. You've already been asked to social distance and wear a mask. You've been tested, and you'll be tested again for COVID. For the first phase that we go through, you'll be in your room, insulated until we get those results back. For 2 weeks after that, you'll be wearing a mask, no physical contact in sports, no room visitations, no large gatherings, meals delivered, and the list goes on. So, why? Well, first, to keep you safe, and second, because we believe that if we work hard at the beginning, in the first 2 weeks, we can get everyone safe and return to a sense of normalcy. We're calling this our family-like bubble, sort of similar to the NBA bubble for those of you who are familiar with that. This requires your help. What you do affects the community, not just you. How careful you are to follow the guidelines, wear your mask, social distance, and the other safety procedures affects whether we can get back to a level of normal. And that is the goal. We want a great year. We want you to grow, to be challenged and stretched, to build friendships, to prepare for college. But we want to do this in person, here on campus. And in order to do that, we need your help in the next few weeks to follow a lot of tough guidelines. We can do this together. So when you're in your room, unable to go to the soccer field or to see your friends on the hall for the first couple of days, remember, we can get through this. We're doing this so that we can have a lot more freedom and normalcy than is available to almost any other school. And we're committed to keeping you safe. What is important is your mindset. How are you going to view being here and those challenges? Embrace this opportunity together with our community. And you'll look back and be proud of your year. And I think have fun along the way. This is just a beginning. It's not a place just to turn and to change, but to grow and develop and prepare for what lies ahead. This is the on-ramp and what comes next is the highway and little mouth of Wilson, Virginia at Oak Hill Academy, and I'm proud to be here with you. Each of you has received a detailed schedule of Phase 1 and a detailed outline of procedures on campus and in the dorms for the next 2 weeks. Please read this carefully, and we're counting on you to help us have a successful year. Right now, Mrs. Anderson will present on some COVID information, best practices for staying safe and healthy during our first 2 phases and throughout the semester. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you grow and working with you this year.
Hello everyone, this is Nurse Betsy. I just wanted to say welcome to Oak Hill, or welcome back to Oak Hill. It's been very quiet without you here for these past 6 months, but we are excited that you're here, and we're happy to have you back. But I just wanted to take a few minutes here to go over some information about COVID-19. Okay, so this is just an overview of what we're going to be talking about. The first one is meeting your nurses here at Oak Hill. COVID-19, what is it? How is it transmitted? How you can keep yourself healthy? Things we're doing to prevent an outbreak happening on campus, some symptom screening, and what to do if you're sick. Okay, so here's an introduction to the nursing staff here at Oak Hill. Betsy Anderson, that's me. This is my 9th year here. I'm the one at the top with the green shirt on, and underneath me there is Anita Perkins. She has been here for 4.5 years. I live here on campus. Anita lives close by. We are here to help and provide care 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There are hundreds of different strains of coronavirus. Coronavirus is not new, but only 7 of these strains are known to affect people. And this newest one, COVID-19, was first detected on December 31st in 2019 in China, and it was declared a global pandemic. Worldwide, we've had over 21 million cases, close to 800,000 deaths. And in the United States alone, we've had over 5 million cases and around 170,000 deaths. And those numbers are what I had on the date that this presentation was written, which is August the 17th, 2020. Now, if you look down in the corner of this slide, you'll see a picture of the coronavirus kind of blown up, and you can kind of see those little things sticking out of it. It kind of looks like a crown, or maybe the thing sticking out of a crown, and that is where the coronavirus got its name, because corona means king, and so it kind of resembles a crown that a king might wear, so that's where they get their name. COVID-19 is a novel or a new virus, and for that reason there's a lot of ongoing research happening, and we're finding out new things about this virus weekly. But some of the things that we do know is that the virus is transmitted from person to person through respiratory droplets, and you can kind of emit those into the air by sneezing or coughing, laughing, or even sometimes yelling. We know that it's highly contagious. There's no vaccine or a cure yet, and it's possible to carry this virus and pass it on to other people and be asymptomatic, and that just means that you don't have symptoms of the virus yourself. So you may not know that you're sick, and you still have the ability to transmit this virus to the people around you. So this is a chart that I found that I thought was pretty interesting, and it kind of takes a lot of data from several different scientific journal articles and condenses the information so you can see it all at one glance. So one column is the list of the authors of the articles, the subjects, which are the people that were tested, and then the velocity of how fast your droplets can travel when you're breathing, speaking, and coughing. So if you look there, you can emit your respiratory droplets by just simply breathing, and that can go about a little bit less than a meter away from you. In speaking, just in a normal tone of voice, on average, it's about 4 meters per second is how fast they're traveling away from you. And then when you cough, there's an average of about 12 meters per second of how far your respiratory droplets are being projected out into the air. So I thought that was pretty interesting to see. And we know that COVID-19, the virus particles are shed through your respiratory droplets. So after that happens, then you can transmit the virus to people by 2 different ways. One way is just projecting it into the air, and then they breathe it in, or it gets in their eyes and then starts to replicate in their body. Or your droplets kind of settle and fall onto the surface of different objects and workspaces, and then someone comes behind you and touches that and gets the virus particles on their hands, and then they touch their mouth or their nose, and the virus gets in their body that way. So knowing those things about COVID-19, there are several steps we can do to take care of ourselves and keep ourselves healthy, and to keep others around us healthy. And one thing that we need to concentrate on is strengthening our own immune system. You can do that by, you want to make sure you're getting a variety of fruits and vegetables, as many colors of the rainbow as possible. That variety is what is going to give you the vitamins and minerals that you need in your diet in order for your immune system to build healthy immune cells. You need to get 8 hours of sleep every night at least. You need to exercise at least 30 minutes per day, most days of the week. So you want to try to stay active. You want to be careful not to overdo it on the exercise, because sometimes if you overtax your body, it can weaken your immune system temporarily. And the last thing I wanted to touch on was smoking and vaping. There was an article that came out in the Journal of Adolescent Health on August the 11th, so just a few weeks ago, or less than that, and it said that 6% of teens who reported vaping and smoking reported that they had contracted COVID-19, and that's compared to 1% who don't smoke or vape. So if you smoke or vape, you have a higher chance of getting the virus in the first place. And there's a lot of reasons why that might be, and one of them is because we know smoking and vaping does weaken your immune system considerably. And the next thing is just the sharing of vape devices between friends. And also you're touching the vape device and then you're bringing that up to your face. So there's a lot of different reasons why that might be the case. So how do we prevent an outbreak of COVID-19 on campus? The number one way to limit the spread of germs is just simply washing your hands on a regular basis. Now you can do that with soap and water, or you can do that with hand sanitizer that has higher than 60% alcohol content. Now when you're washing your hands with soap and water, it's important that you use the right technique and that you do it for long enough. So first you want to put water on your hands, you want to use some soap, you want to wash your hands vigorously for at least 20 seconds. And you want to make sure that you get all surfaces of your hands, your palms, the back of your hands, in between your fingers, and make sure you do that for at least 20 seconds. And then you need to dry your hands completely with a paper towel. Some other things we can do to prevent an outbreak on campus is to wear a mask, disinfecting high-touch surfaces, avoid large gatherings, physical distancing at a minimum of 6 feet away from other people. If you do cough or sneeze, you need to cover your cough or sneeze. And if you're sick, you need to stay away from others. So here are some best practices for mask wearing. We're asking that you wear a mask at all times, except when you're in your dorm room alone and when you're outside and can keep a distance of 6 feet from others. So if you're outside, you still need to be 6 feet away from other people before you can take your mask off. And the last scenario is while you're eating or drinking. You want to make sure that your mask is washed daily. And you also want to wash it if it becomes visibly soiled or wet. You don't want to wear it if it's visibly soiled or wet. Now, when you take your mask off and you're storing it while you're eating or doing some of those other activities, you want to make sure that you're storing it inside a breathable container like a paper bag, or hanging it on a command hook. That's what I use in my office. You do not want to store it in a Ziploc bag or in like a plastic bag where it's not breathable, because that's when it can stay damp and germs can kind of breed in that environment. So you want to make sure that your mask stays dry. And also, when you take off your mask, you don't just want to lay it down, say like on your desk, and then go back and pick it up and put it back on, because that surface may be contaminated, and then you've laid your mask down, and then you've gone and taken your mask and put it back on your face. So you want to make sure that you keep your mask secure when you're not using it. And the most important thing is to wear your mask properly. So this dog here, we want to look at him in the green check mark. That's how you want to wear your mask. You want to make sure it's covered above your nose all the way down below your chin. So we want your nose and your mouth covered. So now I wanted to talk about some of the symptoms that you might experience if you have COVID-19. And here's a list here on your screen. Fever or chills, cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, fatigue, body aches, headache, loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, nausea or vomiting, and diarrhea. Now these symptoms usually present between 2 and 14 days after you've been exposed. The majority of the people are presenting by day 5. For children between the ages of 10 and 19 years old, about 35% of those present with a fever. 41% present with a cough, 16% present with shortness of breath, and 10% present with a loss of taste or smell. Now, every day in the morning before you go to school and every night at bedtime, you're going to be screened for these symptoms. So in the morning, it's going to be your resident manager. They're going to check in with you before you leave the dorm every single morning. And then at night, one of the nurses will be by to screen you for these symptoms. So if you do experience any of those symptoms in the screening, or if you're feeling ill otherwise, here are the steps that you need to take. You just want to tell an adult right away. You want to make sure that you have your mask on and that you're washing your hands. You want to stay away from others at least 6 feet or more. We do not want you visiting other dorm rooms, and we don't want you going to sports practices or games or any after-school activities. You need to be resting and getting yourself well. Now, if you have any of those symptoms in the morning screening, your dorm parent is going to ask you to put on your mask and to wait in your dorm room. And then after I'm done giving the breakfast meds at breakfast, I will be going to the dorms to further assess students who may be having symptoms, and we will decide from there together the next step to take. That's the end of my COVID-19 student orientation presentation. I did want to say that there's a lot of unknowns out there, and when that happens, a lot of anxiety happens. And if you have any questions at all, or if you have any concerns, please feel free to come and talk to me or reach out by email. There's my email on that slide. It's nurse@oak-hill.net. You can reach out with any questions you have or any concerns you might have at any time. And we're so excited to have you back. I hope you have a great rest of orientation.
Hello everybody, this is Mrs. Gross, the school counselor at Oak Hill Academy, and I'm here to welcome you to campus. It has been very quiet around here without you guys for the last several months, so we are very excited to have you come back soon. You belong here, you're welcome here, and we want to see your shining faces in the next couple of days. One of the things that I get to do today is to introduce you to what our theme will be for the 2021 school year at Oak Hill Academy. So this year's theme will be Together. So you will see hashtag Together, hashtag Warriors Together. You'll have discussion about what together means throughout the course of the year. And one of the reasons that we felt it was so important to use a word like together is because there are going to be some challenges this year that are unusual. And Mr. Budd has just been talking with you about some of them, and the nurse has been talking with you about some of them, especially as we try to get school off to a really good start as it relates to COVID and our physical health. So what I want you to think about as you're coming in is that this idea is we are all together in this. So everyone, adults, students, everybody are working together right now to make this start go smoothly. And we are working together for the good of the whole community. And that's the purpose of this theme this year, is to remind us, number one, that we're here to support each other, and number two, that our goals are to make it good for everybody, not just for ourselves. So we really hope that you guys will come with that kind of attitude in mind, be thinking and preparing about how you can participate in doing what needs to be done to get the year off to a good start as we all work together for that. Thank you, and welcome to 2021 at Oak Hill Academy.